What's going on, everybody? Max Gray here, back with another review. I finally listened to the new Linkin Park album. So many people have talked about From Zero in the past couple of days, and listening to it was a hell of a ride, so I wanted to give you my honest thoughts on this one. But before we jump in, there will be a special guest today that is going to present us his perspective on the record, so if you would like to have a second opinion on the album, make sure you stay till the end of this video. When I was younger, Linkin Park was one of the first rock bands that I listened to. I really liked the nu metal sound that was present in the early records like Hybrid Theory and Meteora, but starting with Minutes to Midnight, I felt that the formation moved away from its original nu metal sound to a more generic commercial rock sound. It felt like a huge disappointment, and for that reason, I wasn't particularly interested in the band's music for the last 20 years. In the mid-2000s, I was starting to discover heavier bands like Slayer, so Linkin Park releasing material that was more mellow wasn't really appealing to me. So fast forward to today, with all the excitement and the different points of view surrounding the new incarnation of the band, I decided to purchase the new album at my local record store and to take the time to give it a listen from start to finish. And I have to say that From Zero has been the surprise of the year for me. What surprised me the most is that nu metal elements are back in the band's sound. I wouldn't describe From Zero as being an authentic nu metal album, but nu metal elements and songs are definitely present in the record. Tracks like Casualty, Heavy is the Crown, and Two-Faced certainly contain nu metal riffs. If you like that music genre, you will absolutely love Two-Faced, one of the highlights from the album. It has all the ingredients: early Deftones, sounding riffs, rapping, screams in the breakdown, and turntable scratching. There is a nostalgia feel about this track. It sounds like it could have been released in the early 2000s, but there is still something fresh about the song. If we talk about the vocals, I know that many people have been reluctant to accept someone else filling Chester's shoes, and I understand where they are coming from. He was an iconic singer, but I think that Emily's vocals are a really good fit for the band. Her clean singing and her screams are great, but what I like the most is when she sings with a raspy voice that is kind of in between singing and screaming. You can hear that style in the songs The Emptiness Machine and Heavy is the Crown, two other great tracks from the album. The raspiness in Emily's voice does remind me a little bit of Chester's harsh vocals from the early albums, which is another thing that contributes to my appreciation of From Zero. While marking the return of nu metal elements like screams, a high-gain guitar tone, and turntable scratching on certain songs, the new album also retained many commercial rock and pop music elements that were present in the more recent releases by the band. So if you like those recent Linkin Park albums, there will also be something for you in From Zero. In some songs, you sometimes have really catchy choruses and slow chords played on either a piano or a keyboard that give the tracks a pop sound. The songs Over Each Other, Overflow, and Stained are examples of songs with notable pop and more mellow rock elements. The production on the album was done by Mike Shinoda, with the guitarist Brad Delson and the new drummer Colin Brittain acting as co-producers. The production is good. It has a clean and crisp sound without sounding too compressed. The sound of the album can sometimes sound a bit artificial, but I guess a synthetic aesthetic has always been part of the band's sound, right? Some of the artistic decisions on the album were chosen well, like the fact that From Zero has a short runtime of approximately half an hour. When you're done listening to the album, you're left wanting to hear more material by the band, so I guess that it is successful in that sense. The album cover looks nice, those colors do pop. I'm not entirely sure what the pink and the black fluids in the artwork are supposed to represent. Maybe they represent the hybridity, the mixture of different musical elements in the band's sound. If you have a better idea of what that artwork represents, feel free to write it down in the comments. I have a few complaints about the new album and the new incarnation of the band. When I was flipping through the pages of the booklet of the album, I noticed that many of the songs were written in collaboration with additional songwriters that are not members of Linkin Park. I think that this is something that gives the album a more corporate feel, and I think that when bands fully write their own stuff, it's certainly more authentic. But I guess that in the end, it's the final product that matters the most. Another complaint I have regarding the new incarnation of the formation is the fact that the guitarist Brad Delson has chosen to stop touring with the band while still being involved in the studio. His reasoning was explained in interviews. It was said that he doesn't really like the touring lifestyle anymore, but sometimes you can't help but wonder, like, does he still really want to be in the band or not? The in-between position he is in can be a little bit weird since the band now needs to have a touring guitarist. I'm sure a lot of fans would like to see Delson play live, but at least he still plays on the record, so there is a continuation guitar-wise with the new album. Overall, From Zero is successful in the fact that it is at the same time a partial return to the early sound of the band, a continuation of the past couple of Linkin Park releases, and something new. Although I don't think that it is on the same level as Hybrid Theory or Meteora, I enjoyed listening to From Zero. It's a great comeback record, and I give this release a strong 8 out of 10. Unsurprisingly, considering my musical tastes, I find myself liking the heavier songs the most on this release. There is a chance that this album will find its way in my upcoming top 10 albums list for 2024. From Zero has reignited an interest in me for the band that is really surprising considering the fact that I had little to zero interest in Linkin Park's music for almost 2 decades. Ultimately, From Zero made me realize that maybe I was too quick to dismiss Linkin Park when I was younger and to not give a listen to the new releases by the band. I'll retry to give a listen to the albums that I missed since Meteora. We'll see if I enjoy them or not. I talked about bringing a guest earlier. I invited Brady Fugel from the Brady Fugel channel to give us his thoughts on the album. I always like to watch his reviews, particularly when we release reviews about the same album. Sometimes we have contrasting views and sometimes we agree on the most part. So I was curious to hear his perspective on this one, so here it is.
What's up, everybody? Brady Fugel coming at you from Metal Planet to give some quick thoughts on the new Linkin Park album. You know, I knew going into this album that the opinions would be all over the place. Stylistically, I really had no idea what to expect. I was kind of hoping that they would kind of have elements of all of their albums kind of spaced throughout and intertwined in here, but I also, as a longtime fan of this band, like they were literally one of the first bands I ever remember listening to, I was really hoping they would go back to their older sound, their new metal type sound, and the results I got and that we got, in my opinion, is a good balance. It's not perfect by any means. Like, there were a decent amount of songs that I find myself definitely not enjoying, but if you're an old school Linkin Park fan, I definitely think that there are at least a few songs on here that you're going to enjoy. And for me personally, there's a few songs that I thought I would enjoy, ended up not really liking. And then there's songs that if you had told me what it sounds like, I would have said absolutely not, would not like that song at all, and I find myself really digging it. So there's a decent amount of surprises on this album. So I recommend go checking it out. If you're curious about more of my thoughts, definitely check out the review that I'm going to have up probably around the same time as Max's review, where you can see the songs that I like, you can see the score I give the album, and any other thoughts that I have on it. Max, thank you again for having me on the channel. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Thanks a lot, Brady, for this collab. It seems like we agree on many things concerning this album. If you like rock and metal related videos, I encourage you to check Brady's content and to subscribe to his channel. He does album reviews, track reviews, and top albums lists, and more. Like he said, he will release his own full-length review of From Zero, so that might interest you. He also has some original music on his channel and on streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, so I also encourage you to give a listen to his music. I will leave a link to his channel in the description of this video. So that's it for us for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!